In Bernard Malamud's novel, The Assistant, 1957, the intricate tapestry of the American immigrant experience unfolds, delving into the complexities of generational shifts and the challenges of transmitting cultural heritage and values. Set against the backdrop of Brooklyn, New York, the story centers around Morris Bober, an aging proprietor of a modest grocery store. As Morris opens the store one frigid morning, he contemplates its stagnancy and laments the sluggishness of business. His sense of disillusionment deepens when he discovers that his upstairs tenant has resorted to shopping elsewhere, betraying his loyalty. To compound Morris's troubles, news of a rival delicatessen opening nearby threatens to plunge him into dire financial straits. Meanwhile, his daughter Helen, commuting on the subway to the store, encounters Nat Pearl, a young man with whom she had a brief romantic encounter. Disheartened by Nat's lack of interest in furthering their relationship, Helen grapples with her emotions. Tragedy strikes when Morris becomes the victim of a violent robbery, leaving him severely injured and traumatized. In the aftermath, a young man named Frank Alpine arrives at the store, seeking an opportunity to work for Morris without compensation. Frank, having escaped an abusive father, finds solace in helping others and hopes to acquire the skills necessary to establish his own business. Oblivious to Frank's involvement in the robbery, Morris, still recovering from the attack, accepts the offer and arranges for Frank to reside above the store. Unbeknownst to Morris, Frank is burdened by guilt and remorse for his past actions. Witnessing Morris's struggles and the toll of a lifetime of labor, Frank's conscience compels him to make amends. He diligently applies himself to his work, forming genuine connections with customers, and gradually, through small repayments, he returns the stolen funds, thus subtly restoring the balance. As the narrative unfolds, the assistant poignantly explores the complexities of redemption, personal growth, and the intricate dynamics between immigrant parents and their assimilated offspring. Bernard Malamud deftly portrays the resilience of the human spirit amidst adversity, while delving into the complexities of morality, compassion, and the pursuit of the American dream. In The Assistant, the dynamics among the characters become increasingly complex and fraught with emotional turmoil. Ida, Morris's wife, harbors prejudice against non-Jews, believing that their presence in the store compromises its appeal to the predominantly Gentile neighborhood. Meanwhile, Frank, feeling deserving of compensation for his hard work, begins pilfering small amounts from the cash register, meticulously keeping a record with the intention of eventually returning the money. During slower business periods, Frank and Morris engage in conversations that foster a growing fondness and connection between them. Simultaneously, a mutual attraction develops between Frank and Helen, Morris's daughter, much to Ida's distress. Helen, seeking true love rather than the suitors her parents deem suitable, becomes entangled in a deepening relationship with Frank. However, haunted by her previous regrets, Helen resists the temptation to consummate their love. Just as Helen realizes her profound affection for Frank and desires a committed relationship, Morris discovers Frank's theft and promptly fires him. Devastated, Frank goes to meet Helen in the park for a date, only to find her being assaulted by Ward Minogue. In a desperate act to save her, Frank intervenes and rescues Helen from the assault. Grateful and relieved, Helen seeks solace in Frank's arms. However, in a shocking turn of events, consumed by his guilt and fear of rejection, Frank commits a terrible act by raping Helen. Deeply hurt and resentful, Helen bitterly rebukes Frank for his heinous actions. Overwhelmed with remorse, Frank desperately tries to apologize and contemplate ways to make amends. Meanwhile, the store teeters on the brink of collapse without Frank's presence. One morning, Morris, burdened by his own inner turmoil, unintentionally neglects to ignite the gas radiators in the store, leading to a dangerous gas leak that nearly claims his life from asphyxiation. Despite the obvious signs of depression, Morris denies any suicidal intent. While hospitalized, he implores Frank to return and resume managing the store, defying Ida's objections. Determined to prove his worth and win Helen's favor, Frank takes on a second job at a local diner. However, Morris, upon discharging himself from the hospital, once again dismisses Frank from his position at the store. The situation becomes increasingly tangled and fraught with unresolved emotions, leaving the characters in a state of turmoil as they grapple with their own desires, regrets, and the consequences of their actions. In a tragic turn of events, Morris, burdened by his despair and a series of failures, contemplates a drastic measure to alleviate his financial woes. Approached by a professional arsonist who offers to set the store on fire for insurance money, Morris initially rejects the proposition. However, succumbing to the weight of his despair, he decides to take matters into his own hands. As Morris becomes trapped in the engulfing flames, Frank unexpectedly comes to his rescue, saving his life. Yet, instead of gratitude, Morris's anger overwhelms him, and he once again expels Frank from his life. Despite this turmoil, a slight improvement is witnessed in the business's fortunes. However, the return of Ward Minogue, the assailant who previously attacked Helen, brings fresh chaos to the neighborhood. Ward robs a liquor store owned by Julius Carp, a rival of Morris, and inadvertently sets it ablaze while attempting to escape. Tragically, Ward perishes in the fire. Haunted by guilt for secretly harboring ill wishes towards Carp, Morris experiences mixed emotions. However, his perspective shifts when Carp presents an unexpected proposition to buy out the grocery store. Fueled by this unexpected stroke of fortune, Morris finds a newfound vigor and takes to the streets to shovel snow from the sidewalk. Unfortunately, his health rapidly deteriorates, and just 3 days later, Morris passes away. Frank, feeling a sense of obligation and driven by his relentless desire to reconnect with Helen, returns to take charge of the store. His second job strains his health, but keeps him financially afloat. In an act of selflessness, Frank decides to give all of his hard-earned money to Helen, enabling her to pursue her dream of attending college. Touched by this gesture, Helen reflects on her feelings for Frank, realizing that if not for the traumatic incident with Ward, she would have willingly consummated their love. With forgiveness in her heart, Helen accepts Frank's offering. As Frank assumes ownership of the store, he embraces a significant change in his life. In his dedication to be with Helen, he converts to Judaism to honor her faith and pave the way for their union. The store becomes a testament to their shared journey, and together they embark on a path of hope, reconciliation, and a promising future. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.